Hi Vicky, this question is again similar to the other ones that we talked about on the previous video. They are giving you a mean value, so the mean value is 27, and then a sigma or standard deviation of $6. And you're saying that part D is the only one, I think, for 14 that you were having trouble with. So what interest payment is exceeded by only 22% of the bank's card holders? So what that means again is if we go back to our normal curve, that what we're looking for is this 22% to the right of the line. So 22%. And so basically that is P78, isn't it? So you've got 78% on this side of the line, and then plus 22 would make 100. And so if you go to Q norm again, and you type in 0.78, it'll give you a Z value for that line. It'll tell you how many standard deviations you are away from the mean to hit the 22%. And then to figure out what payment that is, you can go back to the Z-score formula, and the X is what we don't know. The mu is 27 and the sigma is 6. So once you have the Z-score from the Q-norm calculation, then you put it there and you'll get X equals 6 times Z and then plus 27. Make sure you do bedmas there, multiply first before you add, okay? And you'll get your X value, which goes in here, and that's the interest payment, okay? So going on to number 15, this one is completely different than the ones that you've been doing because we're back to probability, and even though there's 3 outcomes here, I believe that this is the binomial probability, and so the reason I say that is that we're looking at the p-value for the binomial distribution to be the probability of success of getting a green slot. And so the Q value then would be the failure, which would be anything else, okay? And so normally with binomial probability, you only have 2 outcomes. So it's either it happens or it doesn't, right? There's only 2 outcomes, and that's why it's called binomial. The bi stands for 2. In this case, even though there's 3 outcomes, I still think that it qualifies as a binomial probability question, just because it's either green or it's not. And so the fact that it's red or it's black if it's not green is not really important. It's just not black, or not green, sorry. So if the ball is rolled 15 times, then I'll start you off with this, and I'm sure you can finish off the rest of them, but if out of 15 tries, we want the ball to fall into the green slot 4 or more times. So we're looking for the probability that X is greater than or equal to 4. And the best way to do that is if we're rolling it 15 times, then the best way to do that is to find the probability that X is 0, 1, 2, or 3, because then you just have to calculate those 4 probabilities and then take all of those added together and do 1 minus the total. That's the easiest way to find 4 or more, is to find less than 4 and just subtract it from 1. So I'll start you off here and show you how to do this, and then I think you can probably apply this to the rest of the questions A or B through D. So the probability that you get 0 in the green slot would be out of 15 spins or rolls or whatever, we want to get 0 in the green slots. Sorry, I don't think you're writing it like that in your course. I think you're writing it as 15 choose 0 like that. And we want the probability of getting a green which is 2 out of the total 38 possibilities, or 1 in 19. We want that to happen 0 times. We want it to be not green 18 times. And so you would multiply 15 choose 0 times 1 over 19 to the 0 times 18 over 19 to the 18, and that will give you that probability. So now if we're doing the probability that we get it into the green slot 1 time, we'll say 15, sorry, I'll write it with the choose, 15 choose 1, take that out of there, so 15, oh shoot, sorry, oh now I can't get rid of that, 15 choose 1 times 1 over 19, and we want that to happen once, and we want the non-green to happen 14 times. And I just realized I made a mistake up here, and that shouldn't be 18. It's out of 15 tries, so we want 15 times for it to not go in the green slot. So if we carry on with this idea, then we have 15 tries. We want 2 of them to be in the green this time, so we are going to have 1 over 19 to the 2, and then we're going to multiply by 18 over 19 to the 13, because 13 times it won't happen. And the last one is 15 choose 3, and we want 1 over 19 to the 3 times 18 over 19 to the 12. So those guys will always add up to 15 there, okay? So if you add up all of those probabilities after you've calculated them and you subtract from 1, that will give you the answer for part A. So that sort of helps you out for B, because B says the ball does not fall into any green slots. Well, that's P of x equals 0. You've already worked that out in the first part, so you can just use that value. And then it says the ball falls into black slots 14 or more times. So you want to do the probability just like we did with green. You want to do that with black. And you're going to do it 14 or 15 times. So you have to work out 2 there. You have to do, out of 15 rolls, you want 14 times for it to fall in the black, and the black is 18 out of 38, or 9 out of 19 probability, and you want that to happen 14 times, and so the rest would be 10 out of 19, and you want that to happen 1 time. And then you also want to add the 15 choose 15 possibility there and work that out, okay? So for C, the ball falls into black slots 14 or more times. Oh, sorry, we were just working that out, weren't we? D, the ball falls into red slots 10 or fewer times. So that one's a bit of a toss-up, because you can go 10 and then count down 9, 8, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and all the way down to 0. Or you could do 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 18. It's kind of a bad question for them to ask, because there's so much work involved. But either way, you have to find the probabilities of all of those numbers and add them up, okay? So I hope that helps, and I'm not feeling very good today, as you can probably tell from my voice. I will try really hard to look at 16, 17, and 18 for you tomorrow, but at least now you can get started on these.